There are attacks against you that make no sound. They arrive without warning, without fanfare, without the crash of thunder or the breaking of glass. They slip in through the quiet hours of the night when you are lying still but cannot sleep, when the ceiling above you feels like a weight pressing down on your chest, when the darkness seems thicker than it should be, when the silence around you feels less like peace and more like absence. These are the attacks that drain your soul before you even realize you are under siege. These are the battles that exhaust you not through fire, but through slow erosion, the way water carves through stone, not in a single moment but across 1,000 quiet days. And I want you to understand something before tomorrow arrives, before another morning comes and finds you carrying weight you were never meant to carry alone. I want you to understand that I see every single one of those battles. I see every moment when you forced a smile and said you were fine. I see every night when the tears came without permission and you buried your face in your pillow so no one would hear. I see every time you told yourself to be stronger, to hold on longer, to keep going even when every part of you was crying out for rest. I see you. I have always seen you, and I am here. Before tomorrow arrives, I need you to do something. I need you to stop. Not forever, not for a long time, just for this moment, just long enough to hear what I am saying to you right now. Stop running from the quiet. Stop filling every empty space with noise because you are afraid of what you might feel if you sit still long enough to feel it. Stop pretending that the weight you are carrying does not exist, that if you ignore it long enough it will disappear. That strength means never acknowledging that you are tired. Real strength, the kind that comes from me, begins with honesty. It begins with the willingness to say, I am not okay right now, and I need you. It begins with choosing to reach toward me, even when every voice around you is telling you to figure it out on your own, to pull yourself together, to stop being so sensitive, to move on. Before tomorrow arrives, I need you to reach for me. That is what I am asking of you. That is the one thing I want you to do before the next day comes. You may wonder why I am speaking to you now, in this moment, through these words. You may wonder if this is really meant for you, if someone like you, with all the things you have done and left undone, with all the ways you have fallen short of what you imagined yourself to be, could really be the one I am reaching out to in this specific moment. The answer is yes. It is you. It has always been you. I did not create you and then leave you to navigate this life without support. I did not breathe life into you and then turn my attention elsewhere. Every moment of your existence, from your very first breath to this exact second in which you are reading or hearing these words, I have been present. I have been watching over you with a love so complete, so total, so without condition, that your human mind struggles to hold it fully. But I want you to try. I want you to open yourself, even just slightly, even just enough to let a little of that love reach the places inside you that have gone cold and dark. There is a war being fought over your soul, and it is not the kind of war fought with weapons you can see. The enemy of your peace does not come to you in obvious ways. He does not announce himself. He does not show up wearing something that identifies him as your opponent. He comes instead in the form of your own thoughts, in the relentless internal voice that tells you that you are not enough, that you have made too many mistakes, that no one truly understands you, that the future holds nothing worth hoping for, that God, if he exists at all, has better things to do than concern himself with the particular smallness of your struggle. He comes in the form of exhaustion that has no clear cause, in the heaviness that settles over you and will not lift, in the way joy seems to have slowly leaked out of things that once made you feel alive. He comes in the disconnection, The feeling of watching your own life from a slight distance, of going through the motions without feeling present inside them. These are not simply the natural consequences of a hard life. These are strategic attacks designed to separate you from the source of everything you need, to cut you off from me, to make you feel so alone and so depleted that you stop believing help is available. But here is what the enemy of your peace does not want you to know. Here is the truth that changes everything if you will let it sink in past the surface of your understanding and take root in the deeper places of who you are. He has already lost. The battle over your life was won before it began. The outcome was secured not through the power of anything you did or failed to do, but through love so fierce and so determined that it held nothing back. And because that battle has already been decided in your favor, every attack you face now is not evidence of your defeat. It is a last desperate attempt to make you believe something that is no longer true. You are not losing. You are already on the winning side. The weariness you feel is not the weariness of someone who is failing. It is the weariness of someone who has been fighting without resting, who has been running on empty because they forgot that they do not have to run on their own resources alone. Before tomorrow arrives, I want you to remember something you may have known once and then slowly, through the accumulation of hard days, allowed yourself to forget. I want you to remember that you are not alone in this, not in the surface, easy, somewhat comforting way people say that to each other when they are trying to offer encouragement without knowing what else to say. I mean it in the deepest, most literal sense possible. You are never, not even for a single moment, actually alone. I am with you in the waiting room when the news is bad. I am with you in the car when you are driving home, and you do not know how to walk through the door and face the people who love you when you are feeling this hollow. I am with you in the middle of the night when everyone else in your house is sleeping, and you are lying awake with thoughts that will not quiet themselves. I am with you when you are surrounded by people and still feel profoundly, inexplicably alone. I am in every room you enter. I am in every silence. I am closer to you than your own breath. What I am asking you to do before tomorrow arrives is not complicated. It is not a long list of requirements. It is not a performance designed to prove your worthiness. It is simply this: turn toward me. However you can, in whatever posture makes sense to you in this moment, with whatever words come, or even in the complete absence of words, just turn. If you can only manage to say, I am here and I am struggling, and I need you, that is enough. If you can only manage to sit still for a few minutes and acknowledge that there is something greater than yourself that loves you, that is enough. If you can only bring yourself to read these words and allow the possibility that they are meant specifically for you to exist in your mind without immediately dismissing it, that is enough. You do not have to have it all figured out. You do not have to come to me with a clean record and a clear conscience and a heart that has never doubted. Come as you are. Come with the questions. Come with the anger if you have it, the grief, the confusion, the emptiness. Come with the mistakes still visible on you. Come with the walls you have built. Come with the distance you have created. I will not turn you away. I never have, and I never will. You have been tired for longer than you want to admit. I know that. I know the specific shape of your tiredness, the particular way it sits in your body, the exact tone it takes when it speaks inside your head. I know that there are days when getting up feels like an enormous act of courage, and I want you to understand that I see that courage. I want you to understand that I am not disappointed in you for struggling. I am not somewhere far away shaking my head at the weakness you are convinced you are showing. What I see when I look at you is not weakness. What I see is a person who has been carrying more than they were built to carry alone, who has been trying so hard for so long, Who has shown up day after day, even on the days when showing up felt impossible. What I see is someone I love without limit and without condition. Someone whose tiredness makes sense. Someone who deserves rest and renewal, and the specific kind of restoration that only I can offer. Before tomorrow arrives, I want you to lay down the weight of your self-judgment. This is something I am asking you directly, and with great intention. The way you speak to yourself, the relentlessness of your own inner critic, the standard you hold yourself to that you would never in 1,000 years hold another person to. The way you replay your mistakes and catalog your shortcomings and build cases against yourself that a fair-minded judge would throw out immediately. All of this is causing you harm that you may not fully see because it has become so familiar. You have made peace with the war inside your own mind. You have grown accustomed to being your own worst enemy. And this is one of the most effective tools the enemy of your peace uses against you, because it requires no outside attack when you are willing to do so much of the damage yourself. I am not saying your mistakes do not matter. I am not saying you have nothing to work on or grow through. I am saying that the voice that condemns you without mercy and without relief is not mine. My voice says you are loved. My voice says you are forgiven. My voice says that who you are right now, in this moment, incomplete and imperfect, and still so very much in progress, is someone I treasure beyond what language can adequately express. The attacks against your peace that make no sound are real. I do not want to minimize them or dismiss them, or offer you easy comfort that slides off the surface of what you are actually experiencing. The weight you have been carrying is real. The exhaustion is real. The moments of despair, the times when hope seemed like something other people were entitled to but not you, the nights when the future seemed not just uncertain but genuinely dark, all of that was real, and I was with you through every moment of it. But I also want you to understand that real does not mean permanent. Real does not mean final. Real does not mean that the story ends here, in this heavy place, with this feeling of depletion. The most important things I have ever done were done precisely in the moments when the situation was most real, most desperate, most seemingly impossible. I have never been deterred by the reality of a situation. I have only ever been interested in transforming it. And I want to transform yours, not in the distant future, not when you have first become worthy of transformation, not after you have done enough right things to earn what I am offering. I want to begin now. I want to begin in this moment, with you exactly as you are, in whatever condition you find yourself as these words reach you. There is no waiting period. There is no prerequisite. There is only the willingness to open the door, even just slightly, even just enough to let light begin to come in through the crack. I know what you are afraid of. I know the fears you carry that you have never spoken aloud to another person because you are not entirely sure you would be understood, because part of you is not entirely sure the fears are reasonable, because another part of you is terrified that if you say them out loud, they will somehow become more real than they already are. I know the fear that things will not get better, that this is simply what your life is, and there is nothing to be done about it. I know the fear that you are fundamentally broken in some way that cannot be fixed, that the damage runs too deep, that you have moved too far from where you once were to find your way back. I know the fear that you have disappointed me too many times, and that even if my love is real, you have exhausted it somehow, used up whatever goodwill I had for you through the accumulated weight of your failures and your doubts and your distance. I want to address each of these fears directly, not with platitudes, not with easy reassurances, but with the truth. Things can and will get better, not because life will suddenly become easy, or because the circumstances that are pressing on you will instantly resolve, but because I am working in ways you cannot fully see, moving things you cannot reach, preparing paths you do not yet know exist. My perspective is not limited to what you can observe from where you are standing. I see the whole picture. I see what is coming around the corner that you cannot see from here. And I am telling you that there is more ahead of you than what you are experiencing right now. There is more joy. There is more meaning. There is more love. There is more beauty. There are connections you have not yet made, moments you have not yet lived, purposes you have not yet fulfilled, depths of your own self you have not yet discovered. The story is not over. It is not even close to over. You are not fundamentally broken. You are human, which means you are complex and imperfect and capable of both great beauty and great failure, and all of that is part of the design. You were not created to be perfect. You were created to be in relationship with me, and relationship requires the kind of authenticity that only imperfection makes possible. If you were perfect, you would not need me. You would not reach out. You would not know the specific tenderness of being loved in your weakness. You would not understand grace in the way that only someone who genuinely needs it can understand it. Your brokenness is not a disqualification. It is the very thing that makes what I offer you meaningful. I specialize in what is broken. I specialize in what has been lost. I specialize in what appears to be beyond recovery. I have been bringing dead things back to life since before time began, and I am very, very good at it. You have not exhausted my love. You cannot exhaust my love. This is not a finite resource that depletes with use. My love for you is not the kind of love that humans offer each other, as genuine and as precious as that love is. Human love has limits because humans have limits. What I offer you has no limits because I have no limits. Every time you have failed, every time you have doubted, every time you have walked away and then crawled back, every time you have made the same mistake again that you promised yourself you would not make, I was there, and not in the way of someone keeping score, tallying up the offenses, measuring the distance between who you are and who you could be. I was there the way a parent is there for a child who is learning to walk and keeps falling down, not with judgment but with encouragement, not with disappointment, but with the absolute unshakable conviction that the falling is not the end of the story, that the getting back up is what matters, and that I will be here every single time. Before tomorrow arrives, I want you to do something specific with the anxiety you have been carrying. I want you to bring it to me, not to suppress it, not to pretend it is not there, not to talk yourself out of it by reminding yourself that other people have worse problems. I want you to bring it here, into this space, into this conversation between you and me, and I want you to hand it over. This is not a metaphor. This is a real transaction that has real results. The anxiety you are carrying about the future, about what you cannot control, about what might happen, about what people think, about whether you are enough, about whether things will work out, all of it was never meant to be yours to hold. It was meant to be handed to me, and in exchange I offer you something that defies the logic of the world you live in. I offer you peace, not the absence of difficulty, not the guarantee that everything will go exactly as you hope, but a genuine, settled, deep-in-the-bones peace that does not depend on circumstances, that holds steady even when things around you are uncertain, that is available to you right now if you will receive it. The loneliness you have been feeling is one of the things that weighs on me the most when I look at you. Not because loneliness is a sign of failure or weakness or anything to be ashamed of, but because I know what you do not yet fully know, which is that you have never actually been alone. Not for a single moment. The loneliness you feel is real, but it is not an accurate reflection of reality. It is a feeling, and feelings, as powerful and as real as they are, do not always tell us the truth. The truth is that I am with you. The truth is that in every room, in every silence, in every moment of isolation, there has been a presence with you that you may not have always perceived, but that has never been absent. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And one of the things I most want for you, one of the things I am actively working toward in your life right now, is for you to experience my presence not as a concept or a belief or a theology, but as an actual felt reality, something that reaches past your mind and lands in the deepest part of your interior self. There are people in your life who are also fighting battles they do not show. There are people around you who smile and seem fine and carry their pain in the same hidden places you carry yours. This is not meant to minimize what you are going through by suggesting you compare yourself to others. It is meant to remind you that this experience of hidden struggle, of fighting something invisible, of being exhausted by warfare that cannot be explained to someone who has not felt it, is part of what connects you to every other human being who has ever lived. You are not an exception. You are not uniquely broken or uniquely cursed or uniquely far from hope. You are human, and to be human is to know this kind of struggle, and to be in relationship with me is to have access to something that can meet you inside that struggle and carry you through it. I want to talk about the specific feeling of spiritual exhaustion, because I think it is the thing most people struggle to put into words, and therefore most people suffer through without adequate support. Spiritual exhaustion is different from physical tiredness or emotional burnout, though it often comes alongside both of those things. It is the exhaustion that comes when you have been trying to maintain your faith in the face of unanswered prayers, when you have been hoping for something for so long that the hoping itself has become painful, when you have been told that things happen for a reason but you cannot see any reason that would justify what you have been through, when the distance between what you believe and what you experience has grown so wide that you are not entirely sure anymore what you believe. If that describes you, even partially, I want you to hear me very clearly. That exhaustion is not evidence that I have abandoned you. That exhaustion is not evidence that your faith was misplaced. That exhaustion is evidence that you have been carrying something too heavy for too long without enough support. And the answer is not to keep trying harder on your own. The answer is to let me into the place where the exhaustion lives. Before tomorrow arrives, I want you to rest. Not just physical rest, though that matters and you probably need more of it than you are getting. I want you to rest in the knowledge that you do not have to figure everything out tonight. You do not have to have all the answers before you can have peace. You do not have to resolve every open question, heal every wound, fix every broken thing, or understand every confusing thing that has happened to you before you are allowed to exhale. You can exhale right now. You can let your shoulders come down from around your ears. You can stop bracing for the next thing. You can allow this moment to simply be a moment in which you are cared for, held, seen, and loved, without needing to earn that, or explain it, or justify it, or make yourself worthy of it. Just receive it. Just let it be true for you right now, in this moment, that you are loved by something that has no limits and requires nothing from you but your willingness to be loved. I know that for some of you, the hardest part of what I am saying is the receiving. You were raised to be self-sufficient. You were taught, directly or indirectly, that needing help was a weakness, that depending on something outside yourself was a failure of strength, that the people who could not handle things on their own were somehow lesser. And so you have been trying to handle everything on your own, and it has been slowly breaking you. And even now, as you hear me saying that you do not have to do it alone, part of you is resisting, because to stop trying to handle it on your own would be to admit something about yourself that you have been working very hard not to admit. I want to tell you something about that resistance. It is understandable. It makes sense given everything you were taught and everything you have experienced. And it is also costing you more than it is worth. The independence you have been protecting is not saving you. It is isolating you from the very help that would actually give you what the independence promised, but could never fully deliver. There is a different kind of strength available to you. It is the strength that comes from knowing you are not alone, from operating with the backup of something infinitely more capable than you are, from being able to say, I do not have to figure this out by myself because I have a source of wisdom and power and love available to me that is greater than anything I could access on my own. That strength does not make you smaller. It makes you larger. It does not undermine your capability. It multiplies it. And it does not require that you stop being the strong, capable, resilient person you are. It simply requires that you add something to that strength, which is the humility to receive help from me. Before tomorrow arrives, I want to speak to the specific exhaustion that comes from trying to be everything for everyone around you. You have been so focused on the needs of the people you love, on being present for them, on showing up for them, on making sure they have what they need, that you have run yourself nearly dry. And you have done this because you love them, and because you are the kind of person who shows up. But you have also done this at least in part because staying focused on other people's needs is sometimes easier than sitting with your own. Because other people's needs are concrete and actionable and give you a sense of purpose and distraction, while your own needs are messier, less defined, harder to address, and require a kind of vulnerability that does not come naturally to you. I see all of this. I see the love that motivates it, and I see the avoidance that is also part of it, and I love you through both. And I want to say to you that taking care of yourself is not selfish. Filling your own cup is not a betrayal of the people who depend on you. Coming to me for renewal, for rest, for restoration, so that you have something real to give rather than running on empty, this is not weakness. This is wisdom. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. And I want your vessel to be full. The people who need you, the ones you love so fiercely, are better served by a version of you that is connected to me, that is replenished. That is operating from overflow rather than from the last reserves of a tank that was never meant to go this long without refueling. When you take time to come to me, when you prioritize your own spiritual nourishment, you are not taking something away from them. You are making yourself more present, more genuinely available, more truly the person they need. And beyond that, the love you carry for the people in your life, the way you would move mountains for them, the depth of your care and your commitment, that is a reflection of something real inside you, something good, something beautiful, something that I placed in you and that I am very glad to see. I want that love to be sustainable. I want it to come from a place of fullness rather than depletion, and that is something only I can provide. Let me speak now about hope, because hope is something that many of you have lost somewhere along the way and may not even realize how much you miss it. There is a particular pain that comes with the loss of hope that is different from sadness or grief or anger. It is a kind of flat, gray, motivationless state in which the future looks like more of the present, and the present is not something you want more of. It is the feeling of going through the motions because you have to but not expecting anything from them. It is the exhaustion of desire, the decision, conscious or not, to stop wanting things because wanting things when you believe they are out of reach just hurts too much. If you have been living in that gray flatness, I want to speak directly into it. I want to tell you that hope is not gone. It has been obscured. It has been buried under layers of disappointment and unmet expectation and unanswered prayer and the accumulated weight of things that did not go the way you needed them to go. But it is not gone. And one of the things I am most committed to doing in your life is uncovering it, bringing it back to the surface, giving you reasons to want things again, reasons to expect things again, reasons to look at the future not with dread but with genuine anticipation of what I am preparing to do. Before tomorrow arrives, let me tell you about renewal. There is a version of you that feels lighter than you currently feel. There is a version of you that wakes up in the morning with some sense of aliveness, some feeling that the day holds something worth engaging with. There is a version of you that can sit with the hard things without being crushed by them, that can acknowledge the uncertainty of the future without being paralyzed by it, that can feel the full weight of what you have been through without being defined by it. That version of you is not a fantasy. It is not who you used to be and can never be again. It is who you are becoming right now, through the process that I am working in you. I am not done with you. I am not anywhere close to done with you. The work I am doing in your life is ongoing, active, present, and real. And the end result is not going to look anything like what the heaviness of right now might lead you to believe. Renewal is real. I have renewed things that looked beyond renewing. I have brought back things that appeared to be permanently lost. I have restored people to wholeness who had resigned themselves to being broken forever. I have given new beginnings to people who were certain they had used up all their chances. This is not outside my capability. This is not too far gone for me. There is no too far gone for me. There is no situation in your life, no wound, no failure, no loss, no broken relationship, no squandered opportunity, no accumulation of bad decisions, nothing that is outside the reach of my capacity to restore, to redeem, to use for something better than you could have imagined from the place where you are standing right now. And I want you to understand something about the timing of this message, about the fact that these words are reaching you in this particular moment of your life. I do not believe in coincidence. I do not scatter words randomly and hope they land somewhere useful. If these words have found you, it is because they were meant to find you, because you are at a point where something is shifting, where a door is beginning to open, where the heaviness you have been under is about to begin to lift. I am not saying this to manufacture false optimism. I am saying it because I know what I am doing in your life, and I know where you are in the story, and I can see what you cannot see yet. You are not at the end of something. You are at the beginning of something. The thing that has been so heavy is about to become something you look back on as the turning point, as the moment before things began to change, as the darkness just before the dawn. Before tomorrow arrives, I want you to receive something. I want you to open your hands, metaphorically, in whatever way that means for you right now. And I want you to receive forgiveness. Not because you have fully earned it. Not because you have done enough penance or apologized enough or fixed everything you broke. But because forgiveness is not something that is earned. It is something that is given. And I have already given it. Whatever it is that you have been holding against yourself, whatever the thing is that you keep returning to in your mind with a sense of shame or guilt or self-condemnation, I want you to know that it is covered. It is forgiven. You do not have to keep paying for it. You do not have to keep feeling the weight of it every single day. You are allowed to put it down. You are allowed to move forward. You are allowed to be someone whose past mistakes do not define their present or their future. That is what forgiveness makes possible, not the erasure of what happened, but the release of its power to hold you back. There is something worth fighting for in you. There is something worth protecting. There is a light inside you that the attacks of the enemy have been trying to put out, and it is still burning. It may feel like barely a flicker right now. It may feel like you have to cup your hands around it just to keep the wind from extinguishing it entirely. But it is still there. It has not gone out. And I am here to feed that flame, to shelter it, to help it grow from a flicker back into the fire it was always meant to be. Do not give up on yourself. I have not given up on you. I have not even considered it. Before tomorrow arrives, tell someone the truth about how you are feeling. This is part of what I am asking you to do. Not to perform your pain, or to seek attention, or to burden people who cannot bear it, but to find even one person, one safe, trustworthy person, and to say, I am not okay right now, and I need support. The isolation of carrying this alone is making it heavier than it needs to be. I designed you for community. I designed you to be known and to be supported by other people who are also in this with you. The vulnerability of saying you are struggling to someone who can hold that with you is not weakness. It is one of the bravest things a person can do, and it opens the door to the kind of human connection that I work through. The kind of love that comes through another person's presence and care and willingness to sit with you in the hard places. I know you are wondering when things will change. I know you have been wondering for a while. I know that you have prayed and waited and tried to be patient and tried to trust and tried to hold on, and I know that the waiting has been its own kind of exhaustion. I want to tell you that I hear every prayer you have ever prayed, including the ones you stumbled over, the ones that came out as nothing more than desperate sounds, the ones that were more complaint than petition, the ones that were half anger and half pleading. I hear every single one of them, and I want to tell you something about the waiting that I hope will reframe it for you. The waiting is not inaction on my part. The waiting is not me being slow or indifferent or forgetful. The waiting is part of the work. There are things being prepared for you that are not ready yet. Things that require a certain amount of time to come fully into existence. Connections that have to align. Changes that have to happen in other people and other situations before what I have for you can arrive in the fullness of what it is supposed to be. Your waiting is not wasted. Every day of it has been purposeful. Every day of it has been building something. The spiritual war around you and within you is real. But I need you to understand your position in it. You are not a passive victim. You are not a bystander hoping for the best while forces beyond your control determine your fate. You are someone who has been given authority. Someone who has access to power that can change the atmosphere around you. Someone whose prayers matter and have weight and accomplish things in the unseen realm that you will not always see immediately, but that are real and effective and significant. You have more influence over what happens in your life than the enemy of your peace wants you to believe. Every time you choose to come to me, every time you choose to speak truth instead of agreement with the lies that try to settle in your mind, every time you choose to worship when everything in you wants to despair, every time you choose to believe even when belief is hard, you are not just surviving. You are actively participating in your own breakthrough. Before tomorrow arrives, choose to believe something that is difficult to believe right now. Choose to believe that you are loved. Choose to believe that you are not alone. Choose to believe that what you are going through is not permanent. Choose to believe that I am working even when you cannot see it. Choose to believe that there is more ahead of you than what you are currently experiencing. I am not asking you to pretend these things are easy to believe. I am not asking you to suppress your doubts or perform a faith you do not feel. I am asking you to make a choice, to turn your mind in the direction of these truths, even while the feelings do not yet line up with them, because the choice always comes before the feeling, and the feeling eventually follows the choice. Start with the choice. Start with the turning. Start with the small, brave decision to believe, even tentatively, even with one hand still holding the doubt, that you are going to be okay. You are going to be okay. I want to say that plainly and without embellishment. Not in a dismissive way that minimizes what you are carrying. Not in a way that pretends the difficulty is not real. but with full knowledge of everything you are facing, with full awareness of every weight you are carrying and every wound that has not yet finished healing, with complete understanding of the specific contours of your struggle and the particular ways it has worn you down. I want to tell you with complete conviction, you are going to be okay. Not because circumstances will always be easy, not because you will never struggle again, but because I am with you. And because I am with you, the outcome of this story, the real outcome, the deepest and most true outcome, is already decided. And it is good. Before tomorrow arrives, come to me. That is the one thing I am asking. Come in whatever state you are in. Come with the questions and the doubts and the fears and the wounds and the exhaustion and the anger and the hope you are afraid to fully hold and the love that is still somehow in you even after everything. Come with all of it. Come now before the day turns, before the next set of demands rises up to fill the space, before the noise of ordinary life rushes in and drowns out this quiet moment of contact. Come to me now in this space, in this stillness, and let me begin to give you what you have been trying to find everywhere else. Let me give you rest. Let me give you peace. Let me give you hope that is not fragile, a love that is not conditional, a strength that is not your own, but that is fully available to you, and a future that is worth every difficult step it took to get there. You are not too far. You are not too broken. You are not too tired. You are not too late. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And I am exactly where I have always been, which is right here, with you, for you, working on your behalf, in love with every complicated, beautiful, struggling, resilient, precious part of who you are. Do not give up. Tomorrow is coming, and I am already there, preparing what it needs to hold. Come to me before it arrives and let me show you what tomorrow can look like when we face it together. I love you with a love that does not waver with your performance, that does not diminish with your failures, that does not retreat when you are at your worst, that does not require anything from you except your willingness to receive it. That love is available to you in its fullness right now, in this moment. Do not wait. Do not make yourself worthy first. Do not figure it all out first. Just come. Just turn. Just say yes to what I am offering you. And let tomorrow be the beginning of something new. There is something I want to revisit before we close this space between us. Something I want to make sure has truly settled in you before you step away from these words and back into the world that is waiting for you with all its noise and demand and complexity. I want to revisit the matter of your worth. Not your worth as measured by what you produce, or how well you perform, or what you have accomplished, or what the people around you think of you. I mean your worth as something inherent, something that existed before you did anything to earn it or prove it, something that cannot be lost through failure or reduced through struggle. You were made with intention. Every single part of you, the gifts that come naturally, and the areas where you have had to work hard, and the places where you still have growing to do, all of it was designed deliberately. There was nothing random about the making of you. I was present in it. I was invested in it. I chose the particular combination of strengths and weaknesses, of desires and fears, of capabilities and limitations that make you specifically you. And I chose it not because it was the best possible arrangement, and you are perfect, but because it is the arrangement that will allow you to live the specific story I created you to live, to need the specific help I want to give you, to learn the specific things I want to teach you, and to offer the world the specific things that only you can offer it. No one else can do what you are here to do. This is not motivational language. This is not the kind of thing people say to make others feel better. This is true. The particular intersection of who you are and where you have been and what you have suffered and what you have learned and what you love and what you carry, that intersection is unique. There is no duplicate. There is no one else who occupies the same position in the story that you do. And that means there are things that will be left undone, gifts that will not be given, love that will not be expressed, purposes that will not be fulfilled. If you decide that you are too broken or too far gone or too ordinary or too late to matter, you are not any of those things. You are necessary. You are here on purpose. You are needed in the world in a way that the world itself may not even be able to fully articulate, but that I designed from the beginning. Before tomorrow arrives, I want you to take one step. Just one. Not a transformation overnight. Not a complete reversal of everything that has been heavy and hard. Just one step toward the life you were made for. One conversation you have been avoiding. One prayer you have been too tired or too doubtful or too angry to pray. One moment of stillness in which you choose to listen rather than to fill the silence. One act of kindness toward yourself that you would not hesitate to offer someone you love. One decision to believe, just for today, that things can be different. That is all I am asking. One step. And then I will meet you there. And from there we will take the next one together, and then the next. And the story will begin to change. And you will begin to change. And one day, not as far in the future as it might seem from where you are standing right now, you will look back at this moment, at this specific place of heaviness and exhaustion and doubt and quiet desperation, and you will see it for what it actually is, which is the moment just before everything began to turn. The moment just before the light came back. The moment when you were closest to giving up and instead you chose, one more time, to hold on. Hold on. I am asking you to hold on, not because the holding on is easy, or because I do not see how hard it has been, not because the difficulty of your situation is less than real, or because your exhaustion is anything other than genuine, but because what is on the other side of this holding on is worth it, because I am on the other side of it, waiting not as someone who has been watching impatiently from a distance, but as someone who has been with you in every step of the journey, who knows exactly what it cost you to get this far, and who has prepared something for you that takes all of that cost into account, that is proportional to it. That will make you understand in a way you cannot understand yet why the journey looked like this, why the path went through these particular valleys, why the waiting lasted as long as it did. You do not have to understand it all right now. You just have to take one more step, one more day. One more decision to stay in this story and trust that the author of it knows what he is doing. I know what I am doing. I know it does not always feel that way from where you are. I know there are moments when the chaos of your life seems to suggest the opposite of a plan, when things happen that seem to contradict the idea of a good God who is in control and working all things together. I know you have had those moments, and I do not dismiss them. Those moments are real, and the questions they raise are legitimate, and I am not offended by them. I can hold your questions. I can hold your doubt. I can hold your anger at the things that have happened, and the ways they have shaped you and the losses you have sustained. I can hold all of it. And in the holding of it, I want to also give you something to hold back. I want to give you the knowledge, not just the belief, but the genuine deep in your bones knowledge, that I am good. That my intentions toward you are good, that the plan for your life, even when it passes through darkness, is ultimately moving toward light, that everything that has happened to you, everything that has been done to you, everything you have done and failed to do and wished you had done differently, is being woven together into something that will one day make a kind of sense you cannot access yet, but that is being built nonetheless. Trust me with tomorrow. That is the final thing I want to say to you before this moment ends and you carry these words back into your life. Trust me with tomorrow, not blindly, not without the engagement of your mind and your will and your active participation in your own life, but with the willingness to move through tomorrow, knowing that you are not navigating it alone, that behind the events of the day there is something working on your behalf, that the hands that hold you are capable and loving and will not let you fall beyond where I can reach you. Trust me with the things you cannot control. Trust me with the people you love. Trust me with the outcomes you are afraid of. Trust me with the future you cannot see. Not because trust is easy, not because you have no reason to be cautious given everything you have been through, but because I have earned it, because my track record in your life, even when it is hard to see, is one of faithfulness, of provision, of never ultimately abandoning you, even when everything felt dark and far away. You are going to walk through tomorrow, and I am going to be with you in it. And together, step by step, day by day, with all the mess and difficulty and grace and beauty that life contains, we are going to build something worth having, something that looks, in the end, like a life fully lived, fully loved, fully redeemed. Something that bears the marks of everything you went through but wears those marks as evidence of resilience, of survival, of the particular beauty that only suffering and redemption together can create. You are part of something larger than your current circumstances. You are part of a story that is being told at a scale you cannot fully perceive from inside it. And your part in that story matters more than you know. Do this before tomorrow arrives. Come to me. Lay down what you have been carrying. Receive what I am offering. Take one step. Choose one more time to believe. And know, with everything that you are not alone, that you are loved beyond measure, that you are going to be okay, and that the best parts of your story are still ahead of you. I will be there. I have always been there. And I always will be.